Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we are going to have a little cheeky Monday ramble, as we are wont to do. That is, 2 weeks in a row where it's actually been on the correct day? I mean, things are happening, things are changing. Before we get into that, though, there is just another quick Patreon update, which I was going to put into a separate video, but there's no point, because it's just super short, super quick. So I mentioned Patreon last week, and quite a lot of you were really nice and signed up to support on Patreon, and I thought I would tell you what I've actually done to change stuff in terms of what you get on Patreon. So from today onwards, any narrative/lore videos which I'm currently working on as a big project for the channel, they will be up on Patreon 48 hours early, at least 48 hours early. It could be even earlier than that. I'm setting those to release every Saturday, and so you will have access to the newest one well before then. Also, a weekly Q&A on Patreon, so if you're supporting me over there, there will be a post going up today where you can ask questions, and the most kind of voted on questions will get answered on Friday, and also there's going to be a weekly bloopers thing. I don't want to put a huge amount on there that people don't get to see if they're not supporting, because I don't want it to be like a massive paywall for literally all stuff. I don't like that kind of approach, but I feel like there has to be something that is worth you actually giving me that bit extra, because, you know, plenty of you already, like, you already get adverts on the channel, you already, you know, support me through buying stuff from Element through the affiliate link, and if you're going to give me extra on top of that, I feel like there has to be something for it. I just haven't been sure what to do for that until now. So that's what we're going to run with for the moment, and then we'll see how things go and see if you're happy with it, and we can tweak things as we go along. But yeah, that's what's going to happen in terms of Patreon from now on. So if you are supporting me on there, thank you very much, and, well, look out for that stuff. Now, what do we actually have in terms of pre-orders on the way? Well, funnily enough, you've probably already realised this, but it is Dominion. It's Dominion time, as you may have been able to tell from the vast array of unboxing videos that went up on YouTube last night. Was it? It might have even been like midnight, because I'm sure Goobertown said that's when the embargo dropped for it. Goobertown actually did a really good video in terms of his unboxing, where he did point out that sometimes I say sometimes, in his experience, the stuff for like previews and kind of review things for YouTube channels and websites and the like arrive like really quite short notice, and it means that it's really difficult to do a proper in-depth kind of look at the boxes. It's a video that's well worth checking out. I'll link it in the description so you can go and give it a watch. Also, Brent's just lovely, so that also helps. Now, as a reminder, what do we get in Dominion? Because honestly, this is a good box, right? This is a very good box. I really hope this isn't one of those ones that just vanishes into the ether immediately and no one gets a copy. I'm hoping they've really, you know, produced a metric shed load of these, because rightfully so, it is turning out to be pretty popular. Let's just zoom in a little bit more. I mean, yeah, that is a good looking box to me for sure. I've forgotten her name immediately. I had her name in my head literally a moment ago, and I was just about to use it, and then it went out of my head. You know that thing where you try and remember something, but the more you think about it, the more you just fully can't remember it. That just happened. I just had that over the space of like half a second. I really want the Stormcast Eternals character there with the wings. Idrasta, that's it. I really want her. I need that in my life. I'm actually kind of I'm going back and forth. I've got to have self-control. No, I've got to have self-control. But do I, though? That's the question. Look, this to me is a really good looking box. It's full of really nice miniatures. I think this might be one of the best boxes they've done, genuinely. In terms of the overall aesthetics of both sides of it, it looks to be really nice. The redesign of the Stormcast Eternals themselves, I really like what they've done. I think they feel more grounded, more just fantasy, as opposed to kind of like high fantasy. That's like magic armor men, and more kind of grounded in reality, to an extent, only to an extent. You know, they're not fully just humans in armor, but they have got more of the kind of humans in armor feel than the previous Stormcast Eternals that we've seen. Even the ridiculous wide boy annihilators there, even they are somehow a bit less fantastical than like the older Stormcast Eternals Paladins. So yeah, I do like them a lot. And the same goes for the the Cruel Boys. Again, really, really nice sculpts. I think they've done a cracking job with these. They look great. They look different. They look darker. They look more grim than some of the other Orc stuff that's come out. Yeah, I think overall it is pretty solid. And I think Mikey from Hellstorm Wargaming, he said that he's already had a game using like both sides of this box, obviously fighting against each other, and that it's actually a pretty well balanced box in that regard as well. So that's it's pretty solid. It's pretty good. So there's also 14 War Scroll cards in the box as well. A pair of Allegiance abilities cards, one for each army, for powerful special rules that apply to each faction. And there is, of course, you've got your kind of starting bit, then the massive core book as well. And if you get it from Games Workshop, then you get this fancy thing. You get an exclusive set of Coin Malleus command tokens in a hinged presentation box. Yeah. Okay, sure, why not? You can use them as command point counters in your games, or you could feed a necklace through the hollow Galmera's design to make a talisman. I mean, yeah, I guess I get you can absolutely do that. That seems something that for most people will sit on a shelf looking fancy, which is absolutely okay, and it is just a bonus thing while stocks last. So again, that's going to be you need to get in quick, or you are not going to see these, because they'll just vanish immediately. I suspect Dominion's going to be fairly popular. Just a feeling I get. Once again, the core book has got the best cover art, by far. Absolutely solid cover art. It looks great. Pretty gruesome, pretty nightmarish. Excellent work on that. And there's a bunch of other stuff as well. There's of course the usual like limited edition version, which has got a fancy cover. There's only 2,000 of these, so you're gonna have to get in real quick if you're gonna grab one of them. Again, we say it every time, but scalping will most likely be a bit of an issue. I know that they did a queue system for the pre-orders on Saturday, which might help to some extent, but I do know people who kind of tried to get in as early as they could, and then they sat there for an hour and the thing they wanted was gone because they were sat in a queue for an hour. And yeah, there's obviously no perfect solution, I don't think, outside of massively expanding your hosting, but then you can't do that for the entire time, because you simply don't need it the entirety of the time. And even if you do massively expand it, there's a good chance that you won't actually meet capacity anyway. So it's a bit tricky. It's a bit difficult to know what to do, to be fair to them. But that doesn't stop it from being frustrating when you see stuff showing up on eBay for 3 or 4 times the price. So there's also the General's Handbook Pitch Battles 2021 and Pitch Battle Profiles as well. So yeah, you got those two, and the Path to Glory Diary, which is kind of fancy. It looks nice. So it's a 152-page journal that allows you to record up to 72 games for 4 different armies. I mean, it says so you certainly won't be running out of space anytime soon. Actually, no, that's fair. That's fair. That's a fair assessment. 72 games for 4 different armies. Yeah, that should keep you going for a while, and I'd imagine they would just keep selling them, right? It doesn't say that they're limited, so I'm assuming you would be able to get those in the future as well. There's also Realmscape Gurish Expanse. So you've got a couple of boards. I don't know if there's any scenery that comes with these. I think it's just the boards, but there is some interesting scenery in the back there. I think that's new. That weird orb on the like pillars. I don't think that's an existing bit of scenery. I think that's a new bit of scenery. And there are some objective sets as well. The objectives do look cool. I like these. I think they've done a good job on these. I like the bell. The bell looks cool. That weird kind of broken sphere with the energy in the center is a really cool design. Overall, I like those a lot. I think they've done some fun stuff with those. You've got your combat gauge, or you could just use a tape measure like everyone else. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. Tape measure, very useful. And more paints. More paints as well. So much like we had with Indomitus and the Necrons getting some extra paints to help you along with painting them, Same thing here. So you've got some Orruk flesh for the cruel boys. There's some Hobgrot hide for the Hobgrots, obviously. A new brown for the weird creatures and beasts. Which all of those, I really thought that one of them at least would be contrast, but no, they're all just base coats. So yeah, if you're not a contrast person, then obviously you can still grab those without having to worry about messing with contrast if you don't want to. Although contrast, very, very helpful. I wasn't a big fan to start with, but honestly, it definitely has its uses. The Skeleton Horde is possibly the best paint that Games Workshop has ever made at this point for me. The number of skulls that I have painted by just lazily dry brushing some pallid witch flesh and then just slapping some Skeleton Horde over the top is genuinely absurd at this point. Such a good paint. And there's going to be even more Age of Sigmar coming to pre-orders next week. I'm assuming new scenery and stuff like the big archer and the big crossbow guy for the Orruks would make sense to be up for pre-order next week because they won't be in the box, so that would make sense. Also got Black Library stuff, so we've got the tie-in novel for Dominion, again with some fancy limited edition covers. I like the fact there's two, one for Stormcast, one for Cruel Boys. That's a nice touch. I like that a lot. Again, 1,000 copies each, so you're gonna have to get in real quick. And unlike our regular pre-order windows, which last for 1 week only, Dominion and all the other new Warhammer Age of Sigmar books, paints, and more shown above will be available to pre-order for 2 weeks from Saturday. That may be an attempt to get ahead of supply, possibly. Not sure. But, I mean, if it means more people can get hold of it, that'd be nice. That'd be real nice. If you don't put it up for 2 weeks and have it sell out in the first, 2 minutes, that'd be bad. If it's more likely that means more people get hold of it, then go for it. And there's 3 officially organised Warhammer tournaments in Orlando, New Orleans, and Austin, which I think covers pretty much all of it. Yes, it does. So yeah, very Age of Sigmar heavy, with it being the new box, which is, you'd expect that. I'm hoping that with that 2 week window, there won't be as many issues with people just not getting the thing that they really want to get. Supply has been a bit hit and miss recently. It would be really nice to have a release that is relatively... When I say satisfactory, I mean, the people who get it, generally speaking, are satisfied. But it feels like there's been a lot more of almost like success guilt. I've seen quite a few people with, some of the more difficult to get hold of items over the last couple of months starting to get a bit feeling bad that they got hold of the thing because no one else did, apparently. I saw it quite a bit with Curse City, actual feelings of, I kind of feel bad that I managed to get hold of one because no one else did and it's not coming back, and I feel kind of bad. That obviously isn't quite as bad as not getting the thing you really want, but yeah, I'm just really hoping that this turns out to be one where they've got a significant amount of supply to meet the demand, because I suspect the demand is going to be pretty damn high. I'd be very surprised if it wasn't. I don't think this is something that's just going to sit on the shelves and go nowhere. Anyway, that's your lot for the pre-orders next week. Are you going to pick the box up? Are you going to hope to pick the box up? Are you going to get up bright and early, even though, well, I mean, pre-orders start at 10, but you might get up at 7 a.m. out of sheer excitement. Let me know in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things. Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like. Don't click it if you don't want to. And as always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, which you can use to support the channel if you'd like. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.